Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates. From home selling tips to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you make the most money when selling your most valuable asset and save the most money when buying. Now here are your hosts, Dave McKay, along with Wally Kerr, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Oklahoma City.
Well, good morning. This is the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show. I'm your host, Dave McKay. Joining me is Wally Kerr. And Wally, first, right off the bat,
you got two choices here. You got a chocolate-covered donut or cake. Which
I'm
one's
a
yours?
Chocolate guy.
You want the chocolate covered? It's yours, brother. You can have it with the coffee we've got in here. It's great to have our listeners back this week. Had several calls from listeners this past week. We're ready to get on with a great show today, and I'm delighted to be here with you this morning, Dave.
Well, give us a little teaser. What are we expecting today?
We always talk about a market update. We had also several questions from callers this week, so we'll jump in and give them some answers to their questions on our show today. Dave, one of the things I'm noticing is the cost of insurance. Listen, Cindy and I got a renewal on our investment properties recently, and our insurance was going up quite a lot, which really doesn't surprise me because we've had some big storms here.
Yes.
And we've had some hail claims on our investment properties. Our own home has escaped injury. Okay,
oh, that's good. That's good.
But we've had a lot of claims. So insurance costs are going up. We're going to be joined by Skylar Hake today with Heritage Insurance Agency. Actually, office out of Edmond, but they service the entire state of Oklahoma.
Okay.
With some money-saving ideas on homeowners insurance and probably even on car insurance.
Great.
He'll join us today. The other things we'll talk about, how about this one? Came up with a new topic today, a creative idea on how to save money when moving. Moving utilities, changing utilities, paying deposits, movers. We're going to talk about some creative ideas on how to save money for moving. And if you're not moving, maybe you can share some of those ideas with your best friend.
Absolutely.
Or your nephew or whoever it is moving and see if we can help them out. Dave, we brought back a few questions for you today on the
real estate quiz.
That's it. The real estate true or false. And then we're going to talk about some homes of the week, some open houses this weekend, and then maybe a couple of new statements. I've got some agents on my team. They need homes. They need homes for their buyers, and there's a shortage of inventory. Listen in today, because if you're thinking about selling or know someone that's thinking about selling, it's not necessary to just go throw a home on the market and look for buyers. I've already got them.
And your average is 17 days. Is that right?
Wow, how do you remember that? So in 2022, we closed 162 homes for home sellers. And the average days on the market for our team last year was 17.
That's great.
And the average area agent was 38, even though the market was pretty good.
Yes.
It was 38. So, we got some good numbers, Dave.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you buy or sell your home, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Looking for your dream home? They're hard to find right now, aren't they? The best homes are being gobbled up quickly by home buyers like you who are finding the best homes at the best prices before you can get to them. Feeling frustrated? Stop the insanity and get on board with a real estate team that will do the work for you. We've got access to off-market homes that other agents don't know about and other buyers can't find. Why? My Guaranteed Home Sale program brings me home sellers every week who would like me to buy their home right now. We call it shadow inventory. Many of these sellers are ready to sell, but just aren't ready to put their home on the market. Some of them want the process to be quick and easy without having to get their home ready and endure a string of showings. Make sense? If you'd like to access these homes and other off-market properties, call me today. Tell me you heard the show when you call. Let's find your perfect home together. I'm Wally Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 330-3000. Call me today at 330-3000.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Buying or selling a home? Is your older home having issues in the crawl space or attic? Is your new home about to reach the end of its 1-year warranty? Todd Stewart, owner of Oklahoma Home Inspection Service, has been serving residential and commercial clients since 1985. He will give you the confidence of knowing your building systems are safe and operating as they should. Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve. Call Oklahoma Home Inspection Service today at 405-366-8889. That's 405-366-8889.
If you're selling your home or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with your hosts, Dave McKay and Wally Kerr.
Wally, what's the market doing? Any big swings? Any big numbers? We good right now? What's going on with the market?
Dave, there's been very little change in the market over the last 5 weeks. There really hasn't. We're now about 30 to 35 days into interest rates at or near about 6.75%.
Okay.
Buyers would love rates to be lower, and sellers who own a home right now and have a much lower interest rate on their home are less likely to sell.
Is that okay, though? Because it gives you a little confidence if you do need to buy, if you do need to sell, that there aren't wild swings right now. You can be kind of confident that the rate's going to kind of stay where it is.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. So again, for about our third week in a row, there are about 10% more listings on the Oklahoma City multi-list, showing that in the Oklahoma City multi-list, there were about 10% more new listings last week, Dave, than there were homes that went under contract.
Okay.
So if you're a buyer, there's some good news. Inventory is increasing
Okay.
week by week. 10% more this past week, 11% the week before, 12% the week before. So inventory is coming up. Buyers are a little bit less hesitant, and they're looking for that bump down in the interest rates to excite them and get them into the market where they want to buy.
Okay.
May and June were the big months for the number of new listings being placed on the market each week.
Okay.
And now it's beginning to subside just a little bit.
Okay.
Not a huge number, maybe 5 to 7% less on new listings compared to the week before or the week before. But it is subsiding a little bit, which tells me, Dave, hey, if you're going to sell a home, you really need to get it on the market in April or May or June.
Sure.
When buyer activity is the highest. Now it's pulling back a little bit. But if you've been shopping and you've been disappointed with the amount of available inventory and the number of homes for sale, it's beginning to improve.
How does that correlate with the number of homes being sold? The number of homes being placed on the market, you mentioned, is starting to come down. Does that mean the number of homes being sold, that number will start to come down a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. You're going to see there'll be a direct correlation between those, and the number selling doesn't have anything to do with the number being listed, because in times of recessions or too much inventory or when the market changes a lot, you can see that number of listings go way up, and you can see the number of pending homes go way down. So right now you can just tell it's buying and selling season. People are listing. It's a great time of year to sell a home. People are also buying homes regardless of what interest rates are doing. Would you like to know a little bit more? Maybe the listeners would like to know what the hottest price points are right now.
Sure.
I think that'd
This
be
is the hottest time of the year.
So real quickly, let's make this fast. 50% of the homes that went under contract over the last 28 days in the Oklahoma City multi-list were under $200,000. Another 14% on top of that were under $300,000. And then 80% of the homes total were under $400,000. And get this, I'm seeing that top part of the market in the top price ranges beginning to slow a little bit.
Okay.
And that's probably because a higher interest rate just means a lot higher payment.
Yes.
When compared to a 4% rate,
Sure.
and now being closer to 6.75%. 96% of the homes that went under contract over the last 4 weeks were under $700,000. You know, what's interesting is that last 4% of sales, Dave,
Yes.
man, there's a lot of those that are cash purchases. Doesn't that make sense? Because if you're buying cash, you don't care about interest rates, right? So a lot of those people
that's
buying
right.
above
That's right,
$700,000, 4% of the sales over the last 4 weeks have been above $700,000, but a lot of those are cash. So we'll talk about that maybe a little later in the show today. We've got some great information for our listeners today. And listen, if I can help you buying or selling, it's still a great time to sell a home. And if you're a buyer, inventory is increasing, which means you might make a little bit better buy on a home. If I can help you in any way, I'd love to be your realtor, your broker. Give me a call today after the show or anytime this week when you're comfortable doing so at 330-3000. I'd love to help.
Now, we've been doing this for a couple of weeks, and this is really cool, where you can call in and leave a voicemail, and we'll play that back, and Wally will answer that question. And the number is 1-844-211-3817. Again, 1-844-211-3817. And then once you get in, the extension is 1234.
Yeah, you want to just roll that first call, and let's listen in, and we'll be glad to give an answer.
Hey, Wally, can you tell me what my closing costs will be when I sell my home?
When we sit down with the seller, anytime we place a price on the home with the seller, we sit down and say, now, here's how much your home should sell for, how long it should take to sell, and then let me figure out for you how much you could expect to walk away with when all is said and done.
Yes.
If you want to write these down, if you're a home seller in Oklahoma, unless you pay some buyer closing costs, which obviously you're not required to do, really the costs are very affordable to sell a home. It's typically, Dave, in the range of about $1,100 to maybe $2,000, depending on your price point. There's something in there that is based on the price point, and that's what we call state tax stamps, also called documentary stamps. So let's run it real fast. You bring your abstract to date as a seller per the Oklahoma purchase contract. That's about $550. You pay half of the title company closing fee because they do all the paperwork, they pull in the money, and they escrow and pay out all the bills. Closing fees about $225.
Okay.
There is a Uniform Commercial Code certificate. Dave, a UCC is just a court check before closing to make sure the seller doesn't have any liens against their property.
Okay, this is like a clean title.
Right.
Kind of, right?
They're looking to make sure that the seller doesn't have unpaid IRS, state tax liens against the property that have to be paid off when it closes.
Sure.
You can't put those on another property, and you can't ask the IRS, unfortunately, hey, can I I mean, you can ask, but you and I kind of know what the answer is there, right? Sorry, Mr. Seller, you owe some money, and you're going to have to pay that to close.
Yes.
It also looks for mechanics or materialman's liens, so that's $100. That's called a UCC certificate.
Okay.
You pay these documentary stamps, which is $1.50 for every $1,000 you sell a home for.
Okay.
So if you sell a home for $100,000, the doc stamps are $150.
Sure.
Okay. And then you pay your property taxes. So they're prorated based on last year's taxes. So if I were selling a home today, let's just say I closed on June 30th, yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. And the taxes were $2,000 a year last year.
Okay.
Now I pay $1,000 at closing and I'm done.
Okay.
The title company gives that $1,000 to the buyer at closing, and then the buyer will be responsible for the taxes at the end of the year. Dave, that's it. That's the only seller closing costs that are required. And then, of course, you've got a brokerage fee if you've hired a broker like me.
Sure.
And that's what seller closing costs look like.
Okay. Let's take another call. Here we go.
Hi, Wally. I'm buying an older home from a for sale by owner. It turns out the home has a really old water heater that the appraiser wants raised up to meet safety codes. I can't buy the home without it being done, and the owner isn't willing to pay the $2,000 to get it raised so that I can close. What would you recommend?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. Buying an older home, what did they do in this situation?
So in this case, the caller said, I can't get it closed, and the owner isn't willing to pay the $2,000 to get it raised. And here's the reason, Dave. Those older water heaters that sit only in a garage, now if it's inside a home in a closet, it's no problem.
Okay.
Appraisers and mortgage companies and home inspectors are afraid that gasoline might be stored in a garage. And if you leave the lid off the gas or the tip off, it allows the fumes to crawl literally out of that can and then lay low on the floor. And then if the hot water heater fires off, it could cause an explosion.
Yes.
So these hot water heaters where the flame is supposed to be at least 18 inches off the finished floor. And on government loans, especially FHA, VA, the appraiser will look at the home and say, I'm sorry, that hot water heater has to be raised. Yeah, it's about $1,800 to $2,000, depending on the water heater, maybe a little more, maybe a little less to get that done by a licensed plumber. So in this case, what I would recommend is done here is if the owner doesn't want to do it and you really want to buy this home, let's say your purchase price on the home is $200,000. Add $1,800 to the price, as long as the home appraises for enough.
Yes.
Change the purchase price from $200,000 and add $1,800 to that.
Okay.
Make the purchase price $201,800, and then have the seller go in once the buyer is fully approved. Everything's ready to go except for that water heater. Get a plumber to come out and do that job 2 days before closing, and then the plumber can be paid on the settlement statement so that it's really not cash out of pocket for the buyer and it's not cash out of pocket for the seller.
Once again, if you'd like to call in and say, hey, Wally, and have your question answered on the show, call in 1-844-211-3817, extension 1234. We'll be back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right after this.
Buying or selling a home? Is your older home having issues in the crawl space or attic? Is your new home about to reach the end of its 1-year warranty? Todd Stewart, owner of Oklahoma Home Inspection Service, has been serving residential and commercial clients since 1985. He will give you the confidence of knowing your building systems are safe and operating as they should. Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve. Call Oklahoma Home Inspection Service today at 405-366-8889. That's 405-366-8889.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Wally Kerr, and if you didn't know, there are 6 big reasons why homeowners like you choose to list their home for sale with us. First is our offer to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. How can we do this? It's reason number 2. We have hundreds of pre-vetted home buyers waiting for their dream home to come available. That home may be yours. I'll show you our list of buyers when we meet. Our partnership with Zillow is reason number 3. Zillow chose our team to help dozens of ready home buyers each and every month. Reasons 4 and 5, MLS data shows that our listings have sold faster and for more money on average for 4 years in a row. But don't take my word for it. We have hundreds of online reviews at both Google and Zillow. See what our customers say about us. I'm a 35-year broker with over 4,000 home closings. My team and I are ready to work for you. Call me at 405-330-3000 at your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, or simply visit wallyhasthebuyers.com. I look forward to talking to you myself. Call me at 330-3000. 330-3000.
Welcome back to Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show. And Wally, it's guest time. We have a special guest, Skylar Hake of Heritage Insurance Advisors. Skylar, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your agency, and I want to know, do you mostly handle just normal houses and homeowners? Do you do businesses? Do you do other kind of properties? What's your main focus for your insurance agency?
Yeah, sure. So we're an independent agency here in Edmond. I think we're going on year 7 now, just getting into that. Primarily focused on homes and cars, just the personal lines. That's really kind of our niche that we found that works the best, and it's kind of where we like to be. We do certainly service the commercial markets and do some business insurance and things like that as well, as there's a need for our customers. But yeah, home and auto is definitely where we make our bread and butter.
So when you get a customer that's interested in, and I assume I call you and, hey, I think I have some hail damage, or I think I have some property damage. I may be a little, I'm kind of nervous. Is it going to be a huge dollar sign? And what does this all entail when I have you come out? How do you approach that? How do you put me at ease when you come talk to me about my property and what my needs are, and maybe what's happened to my property with like hailstorms and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. So hail's obviously the big one. We see wind and hail here in Oklahoma. A lot of that's just the first initial discussion is just kind of let's just assess the damage, see what it looks like, maybe get some estimates just to see, is it worth filing a claim? Because there's obviously deductibles and things at play too that may or may not make sense to go the claim route. Really, a lot of that's just, we try to do a lot of the work up front when we write the policy to make sure everything's covered properly and well and adequately. So that's usually, we're in a good spot there.
Yeah, and I want to jump in here too, Dave. So instead of just having an insurance man in today, so Cindy and I started doing business with Heritage back 5, 6, 7 years ago. And here's what I've been impressed with. They saved us a lot of money. And that's the reason I wanted to have Skylar on today, is we have a home. We have 11 investment properties. A couple of those are duplexes. Mm-hmm. And recently, Skylar, what I noticed, Cindy, came to me about 10 days ago, as you know, and said, wow, our insurance has gone up a lot. And I said, well, I'm not surprised about that. Look at all the hailstorms across the Oklahoma City metro.
Sure.
So basically, Cindy called Skylar and said, what are your best recommendations for getting our insurance costs down? What would you recommend? And so I think that's the key, is having someone in today, and instead of just talking about, hey, I can help you with insurance, want to get some ideas from Skylar, and I want him to share what he did for me and Cindy, because not only has our insurance coverage been great, we've had 7 or 8 of our investment properties that have been affected, and they've taken really good care of our needs. So can you address that just a little bit, Skylar?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple things you can look at to kind of find the best price. And going back to part of, we're an independent agency. So what that means is instead of just serving or just offering one specific insurance company, we have a plethora of different options. And it really just comes down to finding the right fit for the right person, the right house, because not every company wants the same thing. And so you might have a better rate at another place versus another. So that's kind of the start there, is just having those options. So really finding the best carrier, the best insurance company for you and your specific scenario. And then there's deductible options to look at. We can increase deductibles, which brings the cost down.
That's what you did for us, wasn't it? You increased our deductible because we could afford to pay for that.
Right.
We've been wise and savvy and kind of Dave Ramsey types over the years. And so Cindy called and said, wow, Skylar, this policy went up on this investment property maybe $400 or $500 a year. And she said, Wally, I'll bet that maybe if we made some changes to deductibles, that would help. So address that a little bit and tell our listeners more what they might consider doing based on what they're doing now and how they might change, because affordability, especially for first-time buyers, is really tough right now.
Right.
Not only are home prices higher, but then property taxes are going higher. And then as insurance goes higher, it's just really become a real affordability problem for a couple that wants to go out and buy a $225,000 home with higher prices, higher interest rates,
Sure.
higher insurance because of storms, and then higher taxes.
Yes.
So what's a couple of good solutions there, Skylar?
Yeah, so one, certainly, like I said, just to shop, find the best carrier for you. Don't just go to one spot and take the first rate you see, because it's probably not the best. Second is the deductible options, and that's kind of an individualized decision for the couple or for the policyholder. It comes down to their personal risk tolerance and also just their financial stability. We don't want to put someone with a $10,000 deductible that only has $1,000 in their pocket, because that's not a good spot for them to be.
Can you do a 1%, a 2%, a 3% deductible, and is that up to each person, or is the mortgage company going to control that?
Yeah, so a lot of times, especially with like FHA mortgages or stuff like that, where they're a little bit more controlled, they typically do have deductible restrictions, obviously, because they're collateralizing the home, and so they want the protection for the policy too. So they want to make sure that if there is a claim, the homeowner can actually pay the deductible and fix the home. So you run into things like that. Typically, so in Oklahoma, we have a separate wind and hail deductible. Obviously, that's our biggest claims scenario for the most part on the homes. Typically, the minimum on most of our carriers is a 1% deductible, meaning 1% of the coverage amount of your home. So if your home is covered for $350,000, a 1% of that would be $3,500.
Sure, okay.
A lot of times the next option is going up to 2%. You can go all the way up $15,000, $20,000 separate deductibles. It just kind of depends. We'd like to try to stay towards that 1% because, you get into $600,000, $700,000 homes, you're looking at, $6,000, $7,000 out of pocket come claims time.
On a 1% deductible.
Right. And that's the minimum. And so going up past that. So like I said, you can definitely increase past that 1%, but it's always kind of a conversation we have with people to make sure they fully understand the consequences of that too, because if there's a claim, it can really change the numbers.
So I got a question. I know that if I've been in my home for 15 years, there's certain ways to kind of estimate the value of the home. I know that, like, I can't really look at taxes with the county assessor because that's not going to be until it's sold and all that stuff. Now, how do you figure out the value of my home? Like, do you literally have an appraiser come in, or how do you figure out the value of my home knowing what coverage I need and how much cost I'm going to be at?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question because we get that a lot too. So there's kind of the difference of the insurable value that we're going to look at is it's completely separate from market value. So what you pay for your house.
Oh, okay.
Because we're only insuring the home, the structure, not the land. The land has some intrinsic value as well. So
sure, okay.
If you have a 5-acre lot or something that, is worth a couple $100,000 just in and of itself, we're not insuring that. We're just insuring the home. So actually, every carrier has a different way of looking at it, some sort of replacement cost calculator or tool that we'll go into. We'll enter. You can get really specific on there's 8-foot walls, it's 2x4 studs, what kind of shingles, or how nice are the bathrooms, how nice are the kitchens. We put in all the stuff, all the things, and it kind of spits out that number that tells us this should be the cost to replace or reconstruct the home too, because that's what we're looking at. You're seeing that a lot now, through the COVID years as reconstruction costs, skyrocketed. You saw your coverage amount going up, 20, 30% sometimes. And well, people, my house isn't worth $600,000. You know, I paid $500,000. But in the current market, if you had a total loss, it probably would cost $600,000 to rebuild. And so that's an important thing to look at, to separate that from the market value of what you pay.
Okay. That's really interesting. We were talking about appraisers a little while ago,
Yes.
Dave, right? And so when we go in and do a market analysis for a homeowner and they're going to sell their home, we're typically looking at the comparative market approach. In other words, comparable sales, right?
Yes.
But on the insurance side, they're always looking at the cost approach. If this got blown away by a tornado, the land is still going to be there. Of course, there's going to be a demolition cost if the home was totally destroyed. But they're looking at more the cost approach. And I think that's the reason that insurance has also gone up recently, Skylar, is not only because of wind and storms and hail damage and what's happened here in the metro, but construction costs have gone up a lot over the last 2 or 3 years. And that also affects what people are paying for homeowners insurance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you'll see on your renewals, you may have had $350,000 of coverage for the prior year. And at the renewal, maybe we're getting closer to $400,000. And that's just something, every carrier is going to increase that by some sort of factor. And it's really just an inflation guard to make sure that there is proper coverage to replace the cost. Because even if you kept the same policy for 10 years, the reconstruction cost is going to change drastically over 10 years. And so it's important that it automatically does that. But that does obviously drive the cost up a little bit because you're just purchasing more insurance.
Okay, so let's go back to our specific situation. We got a pretty substantial savings. I can't even remember what it was, Skylar. What did Cindy and I do on that investment property and on all of our properties? I think Cindy said you saved us $2,000 or $3,000 a year. What did you change on our policy? Do you remember, to give us a pretty substantial savings?
Yeah, so for you guys, a lot of your stuff you've had for a couple of years. So some of your stuff was still on $1,000 deductibles, which isn't even offered by the carrier any longer. You're kind of grandfathered into that. And that's a really inexpensive deductible. I think with yours specifically, we changed all of them to kind of just equalize and get everything to a $2,500 deductible, which drove that cost down quite a bit. And realistically only changed your deductible $1,500, which doesn't move the needle a ton on a claim.
What would you recommend to homeowners who have been, I think this is what happens with the insurance. Okay, you go buy a home, you close on a home, or maybe you own it cash. I see a lot of people that just buy insurance and they just kind of sit on it. They don't really do anything. And then all of a sudden, one day, like we did, okay, we get that renewal policy, and I think, my insurance went up a lot.
So you're saying almost to be proactive, maybe every couple of years, maybe every 2 to 3 years, to start thinking about, hey, let's go in, let's talk to our insurance guy and see if we need to make any changes, what we need to do, because maybe you're in an area where there were new homes and now you have a lot of subdivisions and those comps are going way up and everything. Maybe we need to check it out just to be sure we have the right coverage and everything. So maybe being proactive with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We at least try to at least once a year touch base with all of our customers. And the biggest thing, too, is just things change. Life changes. Maybe you upgraded your home, you upgraded the bathrooms. Maybe we need to increase coverage. Did you get a hot tub, put in a pool? There's a multitude of things that can happen. And like Wally said, most people, it's kind of set it and forget it we get our home policy, the mortgage company's happy, and we just kind of hang out and we don't need to file a claim, and so we don't really think about it. But yeah, we do definitely like to have more of a proactive approach. Insurance has a tendency to be somewhat commoditized, where it's just something you have to have, so you buy it, you find the cheapest thing you can get, and you don't really think about it.
Just kind of forget about it until you have a claim, or until you're like Wally and you get this bill in and you think, hey, how can I change that? Can it bring my cost down? So the other thing I'd like to say is that when your business partner, Jared, placed our insurance years ago, I hadn't really ever heard of Safeco at that time. And so he brought Safeco to the table, and I think this is the other reason, Dave, to stress to our listeners to look at options, because he came to me and said, look, Safeco's this large national company. They're not as heavy in Oklahoma. And Wally, companies like the big ones here that I used to carry, whether it was home or auto when I was a lot younger, Allstate, State Farm, Farmers, and so they had lots of claims after storms. And so the rates would go way up. But when Jared came to me years ago and said, Safeco's a really, really good company, and the rates are a lot better, and they don't have the storm losses because they're not doing as much business in Oklahoma. He put us with Safeco, and the first time 3 of my properties got hailed on in the same storm, I couldn't believe how good the service was, how good the protection level was. I was very, very pleased. And so that's what a company like yours has a benefit of. So you have a lot of different carriers that you work with for insurance, like you said, where people can kind of comparison shop. like we did to come up with really good options. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the thing. We have, really for home and auto, probably 5, 6 to 7 different really strong carriers. We look at all of them. We kind of handpick who we want to do business with and how's their financial stability, what's their rating, and what's their ability to pay claims, and are they going to provide a service to our clients that we expect from the carriers as well. So in a lot of ours, you haven't heard of the big ones that have the Super Bowl ads that spend $1 billion on advertising every year. A lot of our companies don't necessarily do that, but it's somewhat reflected in the pricing too, because they don't have those big expenditures like the big guys do.
Right. Sure. Joining us again is Skylar Hake of Heritage Insurance Advisors. You mentioned a couple of minutes ago, or when we started talking, sometimes someone may need a claim, they may not need a claim. And I don't know if you come in as an advisory role in this, or you can advise us right now. Wally told me something very interesting. I think we talked about this last week, especially like hail damage, which is probably maybe the number one reason for insurance companies in Oklahoma. I guess you just go out and see how many hail spots or dots or dents there are in like a 10 foot by 10 foot square. And if that number exceeds this, we have to replace the roof. If it doesn't, it's good. What would be your advice, and how would you advise people on when they need to move forward with really trying to get a roof redone? And when is it advisable to, even though you have damage, to kind of sit back on it?
Yeah, so it just depends. Like you said, that's exactly right. They use kind of like hits per square. So they're going to go out and mark the hail hits and see what's kind of the density of these. Is there, how many hits of hail per square are we seeing? That's how we kind of determine, is this going to be qualified for a total loss or be a total replacement on the roof, or is it more suited for repair? So if that density of the hail hits is a little bit lower, or maybe it's just a couple loose shingles, obviously we're not going to total the whole roof and get you a new one if you just have a couple loose shingles. Really, I suggest contact a roofer that's just your trusted partner there, because they're going to be best to advise you on what actually needs to be done with the roof. And then we kind of make that decision on, is this, is this going to qualify for a replacement? And then what's our deductible? What's the cost to replace the roof? What does that look like? And then going from there with filing a claim, perhaps.
Skylar, isn't there some truth that there's a direct correlation between low credit scores and people that turn in a lot of claims? And so I think your advice, from what I know and what you've told me and what I've learned over the years, is have a roofer look first. Roofers, of course, are always looking for business, but it is what it is, right? It's either going to have the number of hail hits or it's not. Because if someone just goes in and automatically files a claim, I believe that goes into like a national database where, insurance companies can see if the same customer keeps calling and asking for money. Is there truth to that?
Yeah, certainly. So as part of the application process for an insurance policy, we definitely run part of one of the reports that we look at is called a clue report, which is just the claims history. So that's going to show us everything, all the claims that you filed in the past. And sometimes you'll have claims that will show up even if the claim doesn't pay out, because maybe you filed a claim and it wasn't past your deductible, or maybe there just wasn't coverage for that specific loss. Those zero pay claims still show up there and can be surcharged by some carriers even. So
I don't want to call it an ambulance chaser, but I mean, that's where the term came from, right? Is people that are saying, well, maybe something happened, I'm just going to file an insurance claim. So that's why it really is advisable by you to get a roofer to look at it first and determine whether there's really enough damage for a claim to be filed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. We really we look at insurance from a perspective of it's really there to protect from catastrophic losses. It's not there for the $500 things that go wrong. That's just part of home ownership, unfortunately. And even now, the carriers in the current market are getting much more strict on underwriting. And we're even seeing stuff if there's, 2 claims in a certain time period, you're not even eligible for a policy. So we want to be really careful for our future reinsurability, just to make sure that we can even find insurance. So we don't want to go file too many claims and put ourselves in a position to where we might not have anywhere to go.
This is really good advice on insurance and things people need to know, and I hope our listeners can take advantage of that.
So Skylar Hake, Heritage Insurance Advisors. Let us know how people can get a hold of you.
Phone number is just 405-920-5196. My email is just my name, Skylar, SKYLAR, at yourhia.com.
Your HIA, Heritage Insurance Agency, yourhia.com.
That's right.
Give that phone number one more time for our listeners.
405-920-5196.
Appreciate you being on today,
Yeah, absolutely.
Skylar.
It's great to be here.
And you're listening to Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show. I'm Dave McKay. He's Wally Kerr. And Wally, at the beginning of the show, we were talking about the different costs associated with moving. And there's probably a lot of little things that I would have not thought about that are going to add up, but you have creative ways to save money going from one home to the next.
You know, we've been talking about a lot of things on our shows over the last couple of months, Dave, and I finally looked up and just thought how to save money when moving. Dave, just kick in on any of these for input that you've got.
Okay.
So again, in a time where the cost of just about everything in life has gone up, here's a few ideas. First of all, toss, donate, or sell any item if you don't need it. It just costs time and money and effort to move it. Think about it, folks. Do you really need to take that to your new home? You're starting a new life, a new home. Have a garage sale. Do an estate sale. Let go of old appliances. Look, they're going to conk out. Appliances are hard to move. Sometimes they do damage when you move them in or out, wood floors, tile, bumping the woodwork. So get rid of old appliances, and for gosh sakes, sell the heavy items, weight benches that you don't use anymore, dumbbells. Here's a good one. How about that big penny jug that you've been throwing pennies into for 11 years?
Oh, I got to keep that, right?
That thing weighs 140 pounds. You're going to rip your back out of place, get that down to the bank.
Take it to the bank,
Get that cashed in and get the money out of that.
Yes.
Now, here's really a funny one, okay? You know what? One of the things that's really a pain to move at the last minute is your refrigerator and your freezer. So here's my advice. For 2 weeks before you move, start eating the leftovers. Don't eat the science experiments in the back of your refrigerator, okay? That'll land you in the hospital, and that will cost you more money. But eat the food. Buy packing supplies from Amazon because they're cheaper. They'll ship them right to your door.
Okay.
And then boxes from Home Depots or Lowe's. You know, if you go to some of the retail outlets, boxes are really expensive.
Yes.
But from Home Depot and Lowe's, they're pretty affordable.
Okay.
Use your linens, use your sheets and your towels when packing.
Yes, we did this, and it was fantastic.
Instead of buying newspaper or
100%.
plastic, you know, use all of those things. Here's a good one. Pack a necessities box. How many times have you moved and you've put the Advil, you've put the Pepto-Bismol, you've put, you know, the aspirin, whatever it is, in a box and you can't find it? So pack a necessities box so that you don't have to run to the store and buy a second bottle of Advil when you've already got a bottle with 250
And that's
tablets.
probably scissors, tape, other things like that, markers.
And the remote control for the TV if it's football season for me. Now, that's a necessity, Dave. Pack items in your suitcases. How about that one? You got to move your suitcases anyway. They've got a handle on them. They may have wheels. Put things in your suitcases.
Okay.
Here's a big one, Dave. Movers are typically cheaper during the week. You can guess that overtime hours are very expensive.
Yes.
Stay away from closing your home sale at the end of the month, which is when most people like to close. The movers are extremely busy, and they're going to charge more money.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Try to stay away from closing at the end of the month. The only thing you should leave in your rooms is your packed boxes, the furniture you want moved, and they should be clearly labeled as to where they're going to go when they get to the new house.
Oh, okay.
A couple other big deals here. Try to avoid expensive restaurants the night of the move. You know, there's cheaper options. There's pizza. You know, there's Brahms.
Yes.
Go with cheaper options. That will help out. I know a lot of people that stay in a motel for a couple of nights when they're moving. Stay with family or friends if you can. Just some money-saving ideas, Dave, that I thought we'd throw out to our listeners today.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you buy or sell your home, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Buying or selling a home? Is your older home having issues in the crawl space or attic? Is your new home about to reach the end of its 1-year warranty? Todd Stewart, owner of Oklahoma Home Inspection Service, has been serving residential and commercial clients since 1985. He will give you the confidence of knowing your building systems are safe and operating as they should. Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve. Call Oklahoma Home Inspection Service today at 405-366-8889. That's 405-366-8889.
Looking for your dream home? They're hard to find right now, aren't they? The best homes are being gobbled up quickly by home buyers like you who are finding the best homes at the best prices before you can get to them. Feeling frustrated? Stop the insanity and get on board with a real estate team that will do the work for you. We've got access to off-market homes that other agents don't know about and other buyers can't find. Why? My Guaranteed Home Sale program brings me home sellers every week who would like me to buy their home right now. We call it shadow inventory. Many of these sellers are ready to sell, but just aren't ready to put their home on the market. Some of them want the process to be quick and easy without having to get their home ready and endure a string of showings. Make sense? If you'd like to access these homes and other off-market properties, call me today. Tell me you heard the show when you call. Let's find your perfect home together. I'm Wally Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 330-3000. Call me today at 330-3000.
If you're selling your home or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with your hosts, Dave McKay and Wally Kerr.
Well, Wally, here we go. It's real estate true or false time.
Oh, I made a couple of fun ones today. Let's keep it lighthearted, okay? Dave,
yes.
True or false? The largest home in the world is in Dubai.
I'm going to say that is false.
Oh, you got me, Dave. You did. You got me on this one. So this one's really interesting, and I thought just for some fun today. So the largest home in the world is called Antilia.
Okay.
It's a private residence that is in Mumbai, India. Now, this is as of data from like earlier this year.
Okay.
So it's the private residence of a businessman, an Indian billionaire. His name is Mukesh Ambani. And this home, okay, this is a private residence, Dave. Listen to this.
Oh, no.
It's 27 stories tall.
Wow.
It's 400,000 square feet. It has you ready?
Yes.
A 168 car garage. So he's probably out doing lino, right? I mean, he's got some automobiles.
This is amazing.
It has 3 helipads. It has several swimming pools. It has 9 high-speed elevators. Wow. It's got a 50-seat theater. Now, here's the one I love. I'm a Christmas baby. I love Christmas.
Yes.
It has a snow room that spits out snowflakes from the walls. This is a true story. You can look it up. Go on the internet and take a look at Antilia. It's spelled A-N-T, like ant, I-L-I-A. Dave, the home is designed to withstand a magnitude 8 earthquake.
Wow.
And it's estimated it cost between $1 and $2 billion.
Now, can I get this at VRBO or Airbnb?
I don't think you're going to get to go stay with Mukesh. I don't believe he's going to be inviting you over, Dave.
Okay.
Unless you invest in one of his businesses.
I'm going to have to, when we get off the air here, I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds amazing.
Antilia, go take a look at it, listeners. It's really cool.
He lives in a hotel, basically.
He does. Okay, true or false? Here's our second question today. Warren Buffett owns the world's second largest home. True or false?
I think I'm going to get this right, and I'll explain my answer because I think he is very smart with his money, and I think that he's not going to overspend on anything. So I'm going to say this is false.
You are roasting Wally today because you're hitting them all. Would you believe that Warren Buffett has a net worth of $94 billion?
That's with a B.
With a B. Wow. That's right. Dave, he still lives in the home in Nebraska that he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Now, it's worth about $830 to $850 according to the internet today.
Sure.
But Warren Buffett, a really great money manager, lives in the same home today that he bought in 1958. 42 plus 23. That's
amazing.
65 years ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a man that knows his money, right?
Yes.
Last question today. You and I know that one of the lowest down payments in the industry is an FHA loan.
Yes.
With about 3.5% down. In fact, that's what the required down payment is. So with just a 3.5% down payment required, true or false, does the FHA offer a rehab loan that will allow a home buyer to finance money into the mortgage to repair, improve, or upgrade the home?
I'm going to say that's false.
This is true.
Oh, no.
And here's the reason I brought this up today.
Interesting.
This is going to help some buyers, and here's why.
Okay.
Let's say you're shopping for a home today. Now, the first thing people need to realize is FHA loans are not just for first-time buyers. There's a maximum mortgage amount, but anybody can take an FHA loan. Let's say you go and you look at a home, and it really needs carpet, and it's got old Formica countertops. Maybe it's got old appliances. Maybe there's burn marks in the Formica on the kitchen counters.
Okay.
So a buyer can go in Maybe it's a $250,000 home. Maybe it needs $30,000 worth of updating. You can buy it for $250,000, have an appraiser come out and meet you at the property and say, I'd like to do this. I think that will increase the value. The appraiser says, yeah, the appliances are harvest gold and they're 35 years old and they need to be replaced.
Sure.
Yeah, the countertops are very old Formica and they need to be redone. Hey, the kitchen cabinets are all beat up. So you go in with the appraiser. You can get up to $35,000 financed on top of your purchase price. Now, here's the kicker.
Okay.
So you're going to buy the home for $250,000.
Yes.
If you borrow an extra $30,000 and the appraiser says, yeah, if you do all these things, I do think it will appraise for $280,000. So
Okay.
you can actually borrow the money. You don't have to go do a home equity line of credit.
Sure.
You don't have to take a second mortgage because that rate's going to be higher. You can go do this with today's prevailing rates at, say, 6 3/4. Okay, it's got to be a primary residence. Now, investors can't do this.
Okay.
You can finance up to $35,000 on top of the purchase price to repair or improve or upgrade. And the repairs and improvements must actually be made by a contractor. You can't do it on your own.
Okay.
Dave, this will help some people who are maybe seeing some inventory come available. Maybe the home does need some work. The appraiser just has to agree that if you do those things, it will up the value of the home. If you'd like to know
Okay.
more about that, callers can call me, and I'm glad to explain that. You can even shoot me a text at 330-3000. That's a great loan for someone wanting to buy a home that needs work on the inside.
Let's talk about homes. I know you have some open houses, but let's talk about the listing of the week. What's the house that is the primo choice as far as Wally is concerned?
Great. We got a great home that we just listed in Rivendell in South Oklahoma City. It is 12304 Bywater Drive. It's behind the gate at Rivendell on the lake. Absolutely breathtaking waterfront views. It's about 5,739 feet. It's on a 4/10 of an acre lot. It's got a pool. Dave, it's got 4 fireplaces. 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a massive primary closet with, get this, a built-in dry sauna inside the primary closet in the primary suite.
I like that.
Built in 2002, it's got a really large kitchen and pantry. This home is listed at $1,099,000.
Okay.
If you want to look that up online, it's beautiful. Take a look. It's our listing of the week at 12304 Bywater Drive. We do
Great.
have a couple of open houses this weekend.
Okay.
2 to 4 on Sunday. Come see us out in Rose Creek, my favorite Edmond neighborhood. This home at 17412 Hawksview Court
Okay.
is an open house Sunday again, 2 to 4, 5,650 square feet. It's on hole 4 and backs up to the golf course.
Oh, wow.
Dave, 6 bedrooms, 6 baths, 4-car garage. I love Rose Creek because it's got a fitness and aquatic center and a 24-hour guard stand with security that drives through the neighborhood.
Nice.
$275 a month. I think it's the best buy on a gated community with great amenities inside the metro. Come see us Sunday, 2 to 4. And then let's get back to this home that's had another reduction at 18537 Thunder Ridge Road in Norman, about 3,800 feet, almost 2 acres, a 5-bed, 4.5 bath, with room for as many as 9 automobiles or your toys. It's got a 2,400-foot heated garage, plus a 30 by 30 foot steel garage, a 2,000-foot deck, a fire pit, an outdoor living area, and a beautiful kitchen. It's 18537 Thunder Ridge. That's priced at $560,000. Dave, I want to end up today by just telling you, if you're listening and you're thinking about selling, I have agents just absolutely running around looking for listings right now. I'll make this really fast.
Okay.
Got a young family looking in Mustang under $200,000. It's been very hard for them to find what they want because they're FHA and they need a few closing costs paid. They're a great buyer. Mr. Buyer works nights, so scheduling showings for them has been a challenge. I've got that family looking in Mustang under $200,000. We've got an investor looking in Norman for homes to buy cash. He prefers close to campus, under $350,000,
Okay.
at least 3-bed, 2-bath. Looking for homes in Moore, under $250,000. They really like Brink Junior High, Westmore High Schools, and the East Lake Edition. If you're listening,
Yes.
you know, and you've got a home in there. If you got a home in Mustang under $200,000, in Blanchard under $225,000, in Yukon, This investor really likes Westgate Gardens, Cherokee Gate Drive Street, because they own two others on that street and they want to buy more. Also got someone who wants some land in the Yukon Mustang area, 5 to 10 acres. And finally, on this list today, anything in Nichols Hills under $500,000. A little hard to find, but we're going to put it out there. So got lots of needs, got some great homes for sale, and we're happy to talk to our listeners about any of these. Call me, 330-3000.
We'll be right back to wrap things up and talk about 5 best buys for sale at each price point.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you buy or sell your home, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
I'm Wally Kerr, and if you didn't know, there are 6 big reasons why homeowners like you choose to list their home for sale with us. First is our offer to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. How can we do this? It's reason number 2. We have hundreds of pre-vetted home buyers waiting for their dream home to come available. That home may be yours. I'll show you our list of buyers when we meet. Our partnership with Zillow is reason number 3. Zillow chose our team to help dozens of ready home buyers each and every month. Reasons 4 and 5, MLS data shows that our listings have sold faster and for more money on average for 4 years in a row. But don't take my word for it. We have hundreds of online reviews at both Google and Zillow. See what our customers say about us. I'm a 35-year broker with over 4,000 home closings. My team and I are ready to work for you. Call me at 405-330-3000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, or simply visit wallyhasthebuyers.com. I look forward to talking to you myself. Call me at 330-3000. 330-3000.
Buying or selling a home? Is your older home having issues in the crawl space or attic? Is your new home about to reach the end of its 1-year warranty? Todd Stewart, owner of Oklahoma Home Inspection Service, has been serving residential and commercial clients since 1985. He will give you the confidence of knowing your building systems are safe and operating as they should. Enjoy the peace of mind you deserve. Call Oklahoma Home Inspection Service today at 405-366-8889. That's 405-366-8889.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. From knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're selling your home or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with your hosts, Dave McKay and Wally Kerr.
Wally, with home inventory low, but maybe rising a bit as we get deeper into the summer, can you offer a way for our listeners to get a list of maybe like the best buys available in the metro if they're looking for certain areas, certain price points?
We really have to help people, Dave, that have moved here from out of town. They may have moved in and just decided to rent 6 months or a year ago, and they don't know the market quite as well as we do. They're kind of relying to make sure they make a good buy on a property or a fair buy on a property. So you may be looking for yourself. You may be watching out for a friend or a family member or a coworker. So we offer a free list of the 5 or 6 best buys at any price point across the entire metro. And this will also include some off-market homes that we've talked about.
Yes.
These are homes you cannot find on your own and that other agents don't know about. And because we offer the guaranteed sale program, your home sold at a price agreeable to you, or we'll step in and buy the home ourselves. Many home sellers hear me on the radio, and they call me for a cash offer. I had a seller that did it again this week. He would prefer to sell his home without listing it at all. Got a pretty cool home with a walkout basement over near Lake Overholser.
Okay.
It would be in the $650 range. If you think you might be interested or know somebody, give me a call. If you're not selling a home today and you're looking at 30, 60, or 90 days down the road, give me a call. We can talk about a potential cash offer. And if not, let's tap into the people I've already got looking for homes, like we've talked about today, and see if I've got somebody that will already fit for your home where you don't have to list your home for sale. Call me today or this week at 330-3000. If you're thinking of selling, just give me a call. We've got lots of people waiting for the perfect home to come up for sale. Dave, I looked, and I think I looked over the last 60 days. We've got 1,200 people who have been searching for my home on our website.
Wow.
Looking over the last 60 days. And why are they still looking? Because there's not enough inventory. Not enough sellers want to sell. We talked about it. They're sitting on that 3-4% interest rate. They're not motivated to sell today. Buyers are just combing our website trying to find the perfect home. If you think you've got one of those perfect homes, call me before you list, and let's review the database of buyers I've already got. Remember, if you need to sell a home to be able to buy your next home, we did create our guaranteed sale program there. Let me help you find another home, and I could agree to buy your current home so you're not stuck with 2 house payments at the same time. Dave, happy 4th. You know, I hate to say this. Dave, have a bang-up 4th this weekend.
Okay, you too. And I'm going to sneak out with that last donut.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr. Heard every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and replayed on Sundays at noon here on 1520 KOKC and 95.3 FM. Wally's name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak with Wally directly about selling your home or buying, call now to schedule an appointment. 405-330-3000. That's 405-330-3000. Or go to wallysguarantee.com. That's wallysguarantee.com.